Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mac Story.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Real People Getting Real Results. So this is a series I feature on our Blue Collar Leadership YouTube channel at youtube.com/at Blue Collar Leadership. And also it's available, and that's on video, obviously. And then on the podcast, Blue Collar Leadership Podcast, it's available on audio. So thanks for checking out this episode. Got a great guest today. Somebody I've known for a while. I respect him and I appreciate what he's doing in his environment with his team, and that's Mr. Kevin Creedon. So welcome to the Real People Getting Real Results, Mr. Kevin.
Thank you very much, Mac. It's a pleasure, honor to be here.
So how's life up on the North and South Carolina border up near Charlotte where you are?
It's good. It's actually pouring down rain right now, so it's going to be a wet one, it looks like. But no, it's good. It's good. Yeah, we're just straddling the border between the Carolinas and our new spot here.
Yeah, what's the name of that city again? The little city?
We are in Fort Mill, South Carolina, which is really a suburb of Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina is about a mile and a half away from where I'm sitting right now. So we're just outside of the big city of Charlotte.
Okay. Do you guys still say you're in Charlotte?
It's
kind of tricky, ain't it?
A little bit of both, right? We've been here in Fort Mill for a year, so depends on who I'm talking to. If I tell someone Fort Mill, South Carolina from California that I'm talking on the phone with, they won't know what I'm talking about. I use Charlotte as a reference.
Yep, if somebody local, they know what you're talking about. I got
exactly.
So real quick before we get going, I always like to just ask you, and so the listeners or viewers will know, because only people I have on this show is somebody who I know directly, from speaking with or mentoring or coaching, or someone indirectly through my content somehow that they've gotten results. But how did we come to know each other?
It was you and Bria both came to speak with Element Designs and our entire team. I think it was 2018, about 6 years ago, in our old facility. I know. Well, you've interviewed one of my colleagues, Kimberly Hernandez, and she's the one here at Element Designs that discovered Mac and Ria's story and blue collar leadership. I think she was just Googling and came across you guys and had a chat, and you came in and talked with our whole team, and it was I know it's a pretty monumental occasion, not just for myself, but for all of our team members, the ones that are here and even the ones that have moved on. I'm sure we'll always remember that day.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what did that look like behind the scenes when Kim, I guess you guys, some reason she was looking. I don't know if you were aware of why she was looking or if that was like a team-based thing, but how'd that come to be? And then what role did you have in helping to make that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think she really went out on her own. She was seeking a way to help develop our team members, make everybody better leaders and better teammates. And when she came across the Blue Collar Leadership Program, she brought it to our attention, to Mike, our CEOs, and myself and Beata, the three active partners in the company. And she was very gung-ho about it, and she was very convincing that we needed to do this. So there wasn't much question. We trusted her and brought you guys in. And I don't think we had to do too much prep other than kind of organizing the day and breaking up the teams. We didn't have a lot of space in our old facility, so we couldn't do everybody at once. I think we did them in 2 or 3 segments. Yep. It was again, just like I say, a monumental day. Some people still talk about it.
Okay, and so Element Designs, that's your company. You and Beata and Mike, you guys all are partners, owners.
Correct. Yep. There's actually, Mike's father was, one of the founders of the company, but he's retired now, Heinz. And Mike's brother's involved. But as far as like the active day-to-day partners, that's Mike, Beata, and myself.
Okay, that's awesome. I got to get Mike on here at some point, and maybe he can get on from Switzerland. We had to figure out the clock, but we can make that happen, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he spends about a third of his time here, so you can good chance you could catch him on the East Coast time zone too.
Yeah, that might be easier for him too. And so yeah, I remember we came there. It was awesome. You guys have a great team. Y'all hadn't let off the gas. Y'all been keeping the drip going, right? I call it the leadership drip.
Right, right. Yeah, we have. I mean, I think being fully transparent, we can do a better job and get turn up the faucet a little bit on the drip. But we keep it going as much as we can. It's definitely part of our culture.
Yeah. So I'll let you talk about the company a little bit. Then I want to talk about you some more, your journey. How'd you get to, who's Kevin Creedon? Where'd he come from? How to get here? And then we go
Sure.
back a little bit more about the company too. So just for the listeners or viewers, what is Element Designs? I know it's cool because I've been there a couple of times, and you got your new building, you got all that stuff on display, your products on display, man. It's just awesome. So how do you, and also you're the vice president of sales for folks who are listening that may not realize that. So you ought to be able to tell us all about
Element. Yeah, I better be able to. Right. I mean, so we've been in business. This is our 21st year in business. We had a big 20-year anniversary celebration last year, which coincided with our move into a brand new location. But what is Element Designs? We're a manufacturer, and we're most known for being a manufacturer of cabinet doors, but a very unique style cabinet doors. There's no wood. Yeah, there's no wood involved in our cabinet door, so it's we're made out of aluminum frames and glass and just all sorts of different finishes as the company's evolved that we can offer customers: gold, black, bronze, copper, you name it. And it's a real niche market. It's a European look, very modern. Some people call it the IKEA look.
Okay.
And it's we started this 21 years ago. We weren't the only ones doing it, but not many people were. So.
Outstanding. It looks good, and you guys have a nice operation, and that new facility is awesome. Rhea and I got to stop by. We were going somewhere, I don't remember where, and stopped by, and we talked to a lot of folks, gave some folks some hugs. There are some folks out there who ain't forgot us for sure, and they are thankful for you guys introducing us to them and all that stuff. So man, that's awesome what you guys have been doing. So how'd you get there? 21 years doing this. You've been intentional somewhere. It didn't happen by accident.
Right. No, it didn't. So it started in 2003. I mentioned Mike, our CEO's father, Heinz, who was our first CEO, and he went off into retirement, and Mike took over the business from the CEO standpoint. But Mike, myself, Beata, and a couple other individuals that aren't part of the company today, but just had this idea that I think really stemmed from Europe, where Heinz was aware that cabinet shops in the United States were reaching out to companies in Europe looking for this a product like this. But the European cabinetry is a little different than the U.S. and everything's very standardized, standard sizes. So they mass produce a bunch of doors this size, a bunch of doors this size. But the U.S. market, they want everything custom every time. We're going to 16ths of an inch and 32nds of an inch, which drives Europeans crazy. They want millimeters. So anyway, we saw a market for custom doors, custom small batch doors, and took it and ran with it. One thing I'd point out in the very beginning, we didn't intend to manufacture at all. That's kind of an interesting story. We found a contract manufacturer actually near where we are now in South Carolina, near Charlotte. For the first year or so, and we were just going to be a sales and marketing organization. That was our business plan, and somebody else would do the manufacturing. But it didn't take us long to figure out, if you want to control the quality, if you want to control the lead time, the service, you got to control the manufacturing. So we took the first dive in our second year into making this stuff, and here we are 21 years later.
Wow, that's neat. And you guys are still growing and expanding.
Yeah, we are for sure. I mean, we mentioned this new facility a few times. So we spent our first 20 years in Charlotte, North Carolina, literally only about 8 minutes away. And that was really important when we started looking for a new space. We wanted to retain our workforce. We didn't want to give, anybody a burden because I had a longer commute if we moved on the other side of town, and it added 30 minutes to their drive. So we looked for something close to where we were, and we found this wonderful new place here in Fort Mill, about double the size of our footprint, giving us the opportunity we were already bursting at the seams, and we really needed the space, but we got a lot of room to grow here, and we intend to do it. We keep growing every year.
Yeah, that's outstanding. So I'm going to share it with the folks who may be just listening. I want to share your website again. So that's, if you're listening, it's elementdesigns.com. creedon-designs.com. You can go see their product. What kind of folks actually buy your product, use it? What kind of places is it installed in?
Yeah, so we're strictly business to business. So we don't make cabinets, so we're just making the doors and the fronts for the cabinets, among some other products. But so our typical customer, it's a cabinet shop. We're on the higher end of the market, the more modern design of kitchens and closets. So it's a high end cabinet shop typically, or closet company.
Okay.
From the small, literally one person shop who works out of his garage up to the thousands of employee big manufacturer, the whole gamut, the whole spectrum of sizes of cabinet shops and cabinet manufacturers.
Yeah, that's a neat product and a wide expanse of customers to interact with and deal with. And you guys have a national sales team, right? I got to meet a lot of them. We'll talk about that a little bit, but you did a book study with them using one of my books, and we'll talk about that moving forward. But tell me about the sales team that you deal with and reports to you or you support, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah, absolutely. Support is definitely the right word. So we've got a team of, I think it's 28 individual salespeople around the country. I should say around the continent. One of them's in Canada, and the rest are here in the States, and they all have their geographic territories they cover. So they're not actually employees of Element Designs. They're what we call independent sales reps in the industry, or a lot of industries probably use that term. But they're, they may not be on our payroll directly, but they're certainly part of our family and part of our team. And, they carry multiple lines of products. So Element Designs would be one, and then they'd have products that would complement it for the cabinet industry. So we've got them spread out all over the country. We've got I have two sales managers that work with us as well, Chris and Craig, who help me manage that group of salespeople.
Okay. All right. So kind of got a big picture view of what you're doing and what you guys are about. So I know when we came in, and I want you to go back how far you want to go back. All I know is the time that I know you, right? We came in and we spoke to your team. They were highly engaged. I don't think the team members had never brought anybody in like us to speak to the full plan, I don't think, right?
No, so, we had not. Nope.
So they seemed really interested, and then you got really interested. That's why, that's the number one reason I wanted to have you on here, because of your growth. And I know, again, I don't know what you were doing before, but I know once we came in, I felt you get a lot more engaged. Actually, I could see you changing a little bit as just a person. So did your leadership journey, reading personal growth and leadership development, did you start that some other earlier in your life, or did that really kick in when we came?
Yeah, no, that was definitely the kickstart. I honestly had never read a leadership book. I've been to some conferences where there's a speaker, at a trade show, at a closet conference, a kitchen conference, and somebody speaks and you get riled up for an hour, and then it all fizzles away, right? Because you don't follow up on it, and you don't have any tools to follow up on it. So no, that was really the beginning for me, for sure.
And you had been highly successful up to that point, which is part of the value you can bring is helping me help other people. By some people may listen to this who may be very successful like you were in your career, well into it, and hadn't really got into this. So what caused you to dive into it? Because you had never let off the gas. Like we said, it's been about 6 years, and you've read a lot more books than just mine. But what caused you to really? What was the catalyst that caused you to engage like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was more about our team than myself. It really got me excited about it. I mean, just seeing how excited our team was after you and Rhea came to speak with us, and then we kicked off these book studies, and just seeing the development kind of before my eyes of some of the team members, which made, of course, me want to be a better person and a better leader. So I think that journey didn't just start for me that day. It started with a lot of my colleagues and all of our team.
Yeah. Back in those days when you first got started, did you lead some book studies then initially, or was it a little while later, or I don't know how y'all actually did it?
Yeah, we kicked it off almost immediately. I mean, I think the week after you guys came to visit us, we started the book studies, and we broke up the company into departments. We have different departments in production, and there'd always be a facilitator or kind of leader, I guess more the facilitator would be the right word,
Yep.
to lead those book studies. So I was involved in one that was really kind of the office staff, sales, marketing, accounting, HR. That was a smaller group than it is now 6 years
Yeah.
ago. But yeah, no, we kicked it off right away in different departments going through. We started with, I brought a few of my props here, but started with the
front lines book.
the blue book, blue
Okay.
book. Yeah, the front lines. And everybody went through that. And when we finished that one, we started another one.
So what sold you on that experience? Not just you personally. I mean, like you said, you saw your team members. What caused you to go do it again? Because you did it once, and a lot of people don't even do it once, but you did it once, and y'all are still doing them to some degree.
Right. Yep, we are to some degree, and we need to do more of it. That's for sure. But I guess what sold me on it, just we have so many people that they're great, workers and out on the front lines in their department, but they don't really talk much. They just put their head down and do a great job and do what they do. And I think it brought a lot of people out of their shell. That was something that, we'd never asked them before. What do you think? And they got the best ideas out there. They're doing the job or the task every day. So yeah, I think it's just the way it brought people out of their shell, and it got people working together better. Not that they were enemies on the floor by any means or not working together, but just, I think it made everybody more comfortable and sharing their ideas and bringing their advice.
You think they started to see each other more as people instead of just coworkers?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. Yep.
And that's what you mean. I think that's different though than when you said they were coming out of their shells. What's that? What describe that to me? What's it mean when you say they're coming out of their shell?
Yeah, I just think some people with their personality just hesitate to speak up. Maybe they think their opinion. People don't want to hear their opinion, or their opinion doesn't matter, which of course it always does. And I just think going through these book studies and the principles gave those type of personalities the confidence, to speak up and say, "What about this?" or "What if we did it this way?"
Yeah.
And just and for teammates to understand, there's so many different personalities. So sometimes people in any line of work are going to start butting heads because they don't understand each other. They don't understand each other's viewpoints. And I think these book studies made people think, all right, let me try to see it the way they're seeing it.
Outstanding. So for the folks listening, just to share what's on the screen, you can go to bluecollarleadership.com/book study training. And there's 4 different testimonials from different clients. And there's also the key thing that's there's a 45-minute video training on how to facilitate a book study. And you guys may not even know we have that available now, Kevin. It's we used to have a podcast where we taught it, and then we put up a PowerPoint, and it's a video kind of like this. We're off to the side, Rhea and I, and we're scrolling the PowerPoint as we're teaching it. So if you ever have people who are maybe going to facilitate a book study in the future, that's something you could share with them, or even the folks who participate, anybody who really likes it. So if you're listening, you can check that out. So you guys went and did blue collar leadership and supervision as a leadership group too.
We did.
Yep.
Yeah. We followed up after we went through the blue book, the frontline book with everybody. We had a kind of a breakout with what we call the department leads and some management that went through that supervision book. And I think in conjunction with that, we did the culture book as well. So the 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 5 components for building high performance teams. Yep. Blue collar leadership and culture. So you did all those 2 books you did with your leadership, your formal authority leaders, basically.
Correct. Well, no, the supervision book was kind of with the formal authority leaders, but the culture book we did with multiple departments.
Wow. So that's awesome. So the supervision book, let's talk about that a little bit. What did you see with your leaders when they went through that book? What kind of things happened with yourself or with the leaders? Either one.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think one of the we have these department leads, so they're leaders of their department for sure. We call them the department leads, the assembly lead, the fabrication leads, and it's just more of them understanding their teammates and the rest of the department. They would bring out that they were getting frustrated because so and so didn't understand that you have to do it this way, or so and so doesn't understand why they have to do this. It's stupid. We shouldn't do that. It doesn't make any sense. And it's just it gave them an opportunity to try to understand why this person is maybe pushing back. Maybe they have a better idea at the end of the day. It might be a positive thing.
Yeah.
So it's just understanding your team, understanding your family members, right? Which is what your team is. I think that's one of the things I remember that came out of it. It just it made them better leaders because they would seek to understand. I know you use that phrase a lot before. Seek to understand, or that's actually from the 7 Habits. Seek first to understand before you seek to be understood. Something like
That's
that.
right. Yeah. See, you can't hide it, man. You've been growing and learning, and you think about it. I'm sure you think about that principle sometimes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we don't think about it as fast as we ought to, but at some point we usually think about it and realize either do it in advance or while you're in the middle of it, like, hey, I need to shift gears and listen, or sometimes afterwards, like, I got that wrong. I need to go back and try again. You see that sort of thing happening?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, it's more of the latter, and that's it's a constant work. I'm a constant work trying to get better and get better, because a lot of times it's that, man, why did I say that, or why did I react like that? And it's humbling, but trying to get better at hitting that pause button and thinking about it before it comes out of my mouth. It's tough. It's no easy task.
Nope. We're all human, and things are happening. We got different experiences at home, different experiences at work, playing on us every day. Something's changing, customers' orders, changes, things dropping in your lap that you didn't know were coming, and things being maybe taken out of your lap that you thought you had, right? All kind of things changing. So when you shared the culture book, you shared that with some frontline people?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
I'm just curious, what was their, how did they receive that book? Because I wrote that book for the CEO or the top leader, but it's a good book to cast a vision for. So is that what you were doing, kind of casting a vision with that book?
Well, the particular group I was with when we went through that book study was with our office group too. So I can kind of speak to that. But some of our department leads or supervisors went through it with production folks on the front line.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was, we've always, even before you and Rhea came in 2018, we did pride ourselves on having a good culture. It was an important thing. We just weren't doing leadership book studies and really trying to develop the team from a leadership standpoint, but we always prided ourselves on a family style culture, a monthly company lunch with a monthly company meeting. We've always been very transparent with the entire team about how the company's doing, even down to financials. So I think it started to show us, we tell everybody we have a great culture, but after you read, you dive into this book, well, there's a lot of things we can do better. We got a lot of room to improve. And maybe, at least for me, that was the most eye-opening, is I really thought we had a great culture. And we did, I think, maybe compared to the company next door. But there's ways we can make it so much better and continue to make it better. We want to be an employer of choice, right? We want people to come knocking down our doors, looking to work here, not us going out trying to find people to bring to the company.
Yep. Have you seen that improve over these 6 years? The quality of candidates, or the retention or engagement? 6 years, I assume you're getting results, or you would probably be done. Stop doing this.
Right. No, absolutely. No, we definitely see results. I think the quality of candidates. I mean, we get a lot of referrals from our team members that already work here. I mean, I think that's the most valuable candidate, when we're seeking to fulfill a position, is somebody else that works here, and we obviously value their opinion. And it says a lot that they want to bring a friend or a family member into the same environment. If they hated it here, hopefully, I doubt they would say, well, I want my cousin or nephew to come work here. So, I mean, that's, it's word of mouth, which, it's not word of mouth. I think about a lot in the term of sales and referrals with customers and clients, but it's the same for, people we want to add to our team. So,
yep, you're exactly right. And the better your team is, the better their character is, the better the people they're going to associate with outside of the company. So when you raise up their character, they're going to outgrow some people. So whenever they say, and I know somebody, they're going to know somebody with a higher degree of character. And also when they refer them, and you guys do bring them in, they're more likely to succeed because there's somebody in the company that wants them to succeed. So you win all the way around, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, referrals are the best thing there is in all, 360 degrees around, being a partner in a business. It's not just, referrals most people speak about it in a customer standpoint, which it's very important. We all know that that's the best lead you can get is a referral. But it's definitely the same with recruiting teammates. I mean, we often talk about how customers just doesn't mean the people that send us orders and then pay their invoices. It's everybody on the floor is my customer, and everybody's a customer to each other within the organization. So
yep, we got upstream suppliers and downstream customers, right?
yep.
Regardless of where we're at. And that's part of the lean manufacturing mindset, right? Everybody's a supplier and a customer, really. And how are we delivering our product? How are we serving each other inside the organization? And the other thing, what you just described was what I've kind of shifted. I used to call them a brand ambassador, for your company, but now I've started calling them culture ambassadors, right? Everybody in your organization is talking to people in the community, and what are they saying? That's got a lot to do with who you attract and who you repel, and you guys understand that. And I know, just talking about your growth, I saw you get on Jason Denham. He was the first person I recorded on this series. He's number one. If you're out there listening and you want to go into the series on the YouTube channel, he's episode 1 there. But you got in and started getting on his Saturday calls. And what did I refer you to get on those? I guess somehow you found out. I can't even remember. I can't keep up with all this stuff.
Yeah. I think you invited Mike and Mike Ubersax, our CEO, and
Okay.
kind of told him about it and said, if you want any of your other leaders to join in as well.
Okay.
So Mike shared it with a few of us, and I think the very first one Mike was on, Kim and myself and Tim, our production manager, I think the 4 of us all joined for that first time after you kind of gave us the invite, or
Okay, yeah,
facilitated the invite through Jason.
Yeah, you wanted to see what
I did.
Like.
I mean, I was very intrigued. I mean, it blew me away. I mean, what Jason and that team at Kilgore is doing is unbelievable. And it's something to aspire to. I mean, we got a long way to go to get there, but that's the end goal, is to do the things that they're doing. So grateful that he still allows us to come on. I don't get there every the first Saturday of every month, but as many as I can. And I mean, it's a great way to kickstart the weekend. I can tell you, those Saturdays that I'm able to sit in and join that team in Texas, I have a better weekend than the ones I don't. So that's for sure. It's just
it recharges you a
shot in the arm. Yeah.
And you got motivated. It's one reason I introduce folks like you guys to other people who are doing it, because you got motivated enough. First of all, you were motivated enough as an individual to just be interested and to grow, because I have seen you on there multiple times. And then you went back and started one with your sales group. Tell me what thought process led you to that and how that worked out.
Yeah. Well, I've talked a few times about the first time you and Rhea came to visit us, but you came a second time. It was kind of right as things were opening up after COVID. We felt we needed, COVID was bad in a lot of ways. And one thing, it hurts culture. I mean, if you can't all be together, it's really hard to continue to connect and build your culture. So I'm guessing everybody's company culture took a hit during that time, with people working from home or places being closed. So anyway, once things were kind of getting back to normal, we asked you to come back in and speak with our team. We had a lot of new team members that weren't around the first time. We'd grown and had a lot of new people. So, it was another great event. So I think that was 2021, if I'm correct, late 2021 or early 2022. And I remember I came and talked to you afterwards. Actually, me and Chris Dwyer, who's our West Coast sales manager, were talking right after the presentation, and you say, I wonder if he's got anything for sales. We could do this. Would be great for our sales team. We had an annual event, our annual international sales meeting coming up in a couple weeks or a couple months after that. So yeah, we just came up and talked to you. Everybody wanted to talk to you, so we had to wait in line to talk to you and Rhea. But we, I asked you, and you turned right around. You had your books, and you pulled this right out, and you said, "Yeah, I got one that's specifically for sales. Who's buying you?" So we bought a couple copies from you right there on the spot, and then reached out to you afterwards to see about if you'd want to speak at our international sales meeting. So we did that. I'm sure you remember. It was in late September, again, 2022. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we did online,
years, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you joined us in Zoom. We were still at our old facility, so we didn't have a meeting area. So we were actually in a hotel down the street because we didn't have any room. Our meeting area, we needed to turn into more production space. So So you joined us, and you and Rhea talked with us for about an hour and went over a couple of the chapters, and then we kicked off a monthly book study. So kind of trying to mimic what Jason's doing on a monthly basis, but on a much smaller scale. After 30 weeks, after 15 weeks, we did 2 chapters a night. We did it at the first Tuesday of every month in the evening. And,
Yep.
it's tough. We got people all over the country in different time zones, but I think it was a success for sure.
Yeah. What's some of the feedback you heard about that book? I don't get a whole lot of feedback. I don't push that book a lot. So I don't even know a lot of people, that read it sometimes, but because you guys did the book study, I got on some of the calls and got to hear, but when I'm on the call, sometimes people don't say what they might say, when they're talking to you one-on-one, but because for folks listening that don't know, that book is all about how to sell with a high degree of character, how to build a relationship where people want to buy from you as an individual. It ain't about selling your product. It's about selling yourself so you can sell your product. So I don't know. I think that book's probably a lot different than a lot of sales books. I don't read a whole lot of sales books, but maybe you do, or they have, but what kind of feedback, what were your thoughts on the book first? And then what kind of feedback did you get?
Yeah, I mean, I have read a few, not a ton, but a few sales books before then, and it's definitely a different format, no doubt. It's a refreshing format. I mean, I think my feedback and thoughts are similar to what I heard from some of these reps is, a lot of the comments were, this is really basic stuff. This is, this is common sense, but you need the reminder. I mean, it's really good to have the constant reminder of these principles, and the different principles in each chapter. Yeah, I mean, we kind of got a group of the usual suspects. I mean, we had almost 30 reps, and some never joined. People have the schedules or just didn't have the interest. But the ones that did were the ones that would come back every single month and start to contribute a little bit more each month. But yeah, that was really it's just these are basic principles that we all know, but we don't use them. And we're not living by them or working by them in our role as salespeople. And it's a great reminder, and hopefully it's the toughest thing is the application of any of these principles. It's like, better than anybody. You get charged up after you do a book study and you read a couple, or if you're just reading a book on your own, but taking the next step and applying it and using it is the hardest part. And that's what a lot of these reps said. So sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all right. Yeah. So one of the things I share a lot, quote I share a lot of from Myron Golden lately is, I always say, I can teach leadership in a room or in a book or on a podcast or on a video, but you can't learn it in a book or in a room on a podcast. You don't learn it till you're applying it, basically subconsciously. You really internalized it. But Myron always says it a different way, and I like his way too, but he says learning about something is not the same as learning it. Right? When you read a book or you get in a book study, you're learning about it, but you're not learning it. It'd be like, if you taught me what you do, what your actual job is, the one I don't know nothing about, I don't know how to do it or anything like that. And there's a lot of knowledge that I'd have to go do your job. But if you taught me that, you did an hour or a half day seminar teaching me what you do, all I know is about it. I don't know nothing. I ain't learned it until I go do it. And then that's when I'm going to find out I ain't learned it yet. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's like hands-on experience, right? I mean, are you book smart or you have the hands-on experience, like street smarts. I don't know if that's the right word, but you actually experienced it. You haven't just read about it. Yeah. So for sure.
You've lived it. So I'm curious about this too. I don't think I've ever asked you this, but this conversation just led me to want to, is when you facilitated that book study online, did you see, I know when we do it in a room where people, like in your plant, when you do it and the people are in the room going through the book study together, like you said, you always see those relationships form better. Did you, and I don't even know how you can see it or if you'd see it or you'd hear about it, but was it something you could actually, did that happen through the online call? Did you see, because the folks who actually did get on there, did you see them see each other different or work together better or build relationships? Do you hear anything about anything like that?
Yeah, I think there was some of that going on. Again, these are reps that are kind of in their own territory. They don't see each other much.
Yeah, they don't really know each other.
Exactly. I mean, there's the trade shows that happen a few times a year where most of the reps come together, especially if we're exhibiting at it. And then there was, our annual sales meeting event. And outside of that, they're not really getting together much. So, but I do think, because we had gotten through 12 weeks of the 15 weeks of that book study when we had the next annual sales meeting. And I can say that next year, I mean, yeah, I could see, especially the ones that were routine and, on there every month. We have a little social event the first day when they all get here in town, and you could actually see that group was kind of went off and started talking with themselves because
they knew each other. The first
time they, I think, really talked in person outside of these book studies. So yeah, I think it definitely strengthened the relationship between these reps.
Yeah. So, and then it got them and then they even knew each other better after that. So it's just like compounding, right? And then when they need some help or support, now they know somebody they can call, which normally they wouldn't know, which is probably one of the reasons you guys do that event where they do get in the room and get to know each other, but it accelerated it, right? They already knew each other. Now they just need to shake hands and take it to a whole different level in person, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And you guys, you started another book. If I remember, you told me you started another book or no?
So no, we have, but not with that group of outside sales reps, but with our internal group. So like the one sort of book study that's we haven't missed a week since you guys were here last is what, for lack of a better term, it's the office group. So it's our inside sales customer service team. It's our sales managers, Chris and Craig, who are remote, will always log in. But then our marketing team, Kim from HR is a big part of it, who you interviewed recently. Accounting team, I don't think I left anybody out. So, they all come together. It's if they can, and we probably get, somebody might be out, but it's, if they're on the clock, they're here, which is great because it's not necessarily mandatory. And so we went through the toolbox tips first after your visit, which the whole company did. So did this group of more office staff, and then we did Ria's book more recently, which was awesome. Everybody loved that. And then the one we're doing right now is this one here, Gratitude Marketing, which you reference a lot in your book, Who's Buying You? I always hear in your podcast you struggle with pronouncing his name, so I'm not even going to try, but Michael S.
Did you get to speak to Mike that wrote the book?
I did, So what I told you, I think it was after one of the Kilgore Saturdays, I texted you afterwards just because I just seen you online to let you know we're about to start this book. We hadn't even started it yet. And you connected me with the author, Michael. Is it Shuratino will be my best guess is how you pronounce it. And we had a chat. We connected on email and scheduled a time to talk for about 30 minutes. And it was really awesome.
Okay.
I don't think he's ever been told of anybody that's used his book for a book study before. At least that was the impression I got. So he was real interested in that and how we were doing it, and just told me about what led him to write that book. That book, it's focused on selling more of a service where we're selling a good. It's a financial advisors, but that doesn't matter because
a lot of principles
he talks about. Exactly, it's all principles. It doesn't matter if you're selling a service or a good or a product. So I really enjoyed talking with him. There's a couple of things he said that it really stood out to me is gratitude marketing is just about, well, in my opinion, gratitude marketing is just about really putting the attention on the customer and letting the customer know, how important they are to you and that you care. And, one thing he said, and it's kind of what we were just talking about earlier, he goes, there's nothing that's rocket science in this book, but it's about committing to the practices and being consistent. That's the hard part. And that's one thing that really stood out to me because there's so many great principles in your book and his book, but it's the execution that's key, and that's what I think all of us need to continue to work on.
That's good stuff too. So you said you've been doing a book study every week for how long now?
Since whatever time of year in 2020, when you and Ria came back to see us right after COVID with that group,
it's been a number of years now. You've been consistent.
It's going on 2 years probably. And there's another. We did a time management book, so we let somebody on our team recommended a time management book that we went through. And once we're done with gratitude marketing, another teammate mentioned in our last session that she's got one that she wants us to take a look at. So. Try to give the team a little bit of input too on what from their experiences, what we might want to study on next time.
That's great, man. I didn't realize you had been that consistent. I've seen you change over the years. That's why, because you've been consistent. I tell people you got to keep that drip going. I mean, you're either moving forward or backwards when it comes to personal development. You're growing or slowing. And like I tell people, you don't have to do it all day, every day. None of that stuff. Rhea says it best. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. And that's just the drip. That's why we call it the drip. We come in and talk to the team. We're spraying them with a fire hose. As you know, we dumping a whole load of stuff on some folks in 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, however long we're there. And that's a motivational tool and inspirational tool to bring us in and speak. But the real power is in being consistent, like you guys are doing. So congratulations on that. That doesn't happen by accident. You're being very intentional about that.
Yeah. Well, no, thank you. And we're consistent about the studying, but I just got to keep going back to, and just from my own personal experience, it's the execution. Unfortunately, I still feel like more times throughout any given day, I think to myself, or when I'm reading one of these chapters, I think I just did it wrong the other day. Like, when am I going to stop doing it wrong? It's just this consistent evolution. So yeah, I think I'm getting better for sure. And, but it'll be a never ending development. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah. And it is a constant battle because everything's different. Every day is different. And so it was cool to see you guys went through. You say you finished the Ladder of Influence from Rhea?
We did. Yeah. That was the one we finished, 2 books ago, actually. We did this time management book after that, and now we're doing gratitude marketing. So yes, we finished Ladder Influence a few months ago.
Okay, so you guys, the team keeps, like you said, they're introducing books. People are reading books, so apparently they're reading books out on their own. You got a lot of people maybe making reading a habit. So I just want to shift over. That's your office staff. So I want to shift back a little and let you help me. I ask all the blue collar folks, especially. It's one reason I like to do this series. There's a bunch of reasons. One of them is I just hear so many people all across the country that think the blue collar people don't want to read books. They don't want to learn. They don't need any development. And you obviously know better. I know better. Kim knows better. And everybody's not always interested. But you've got some people I know because they come up running up to me and hugging my neck and shaking my hand when I went through there. There's some people on the front lines who are hungry for development. Could you share anything about any of those people, some of your hungriest folks in your facility? And it doesn't matter if they're on the front lines, but if you know some out there, I'd like to hear about those folks.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, yeah, frontline workers, blue collar, whatever. I'm not a big fan of the term blue collar, but because we're all one team. But yeah, so the frontline workers, the ones out there making it happen. I mean, there's no doubt that they're hungry for opportunities to develop and learn. If anybody thinks they aren't, that's a big falsehood for sure.
You think they feel more valued? You think they feel more valued as team members because you're in developing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it sets us apart from another potential employer, another potential manufacturer, because I don't think many people are doing this. I certainly, and I see a lot of cabinet shops and cabinet manufacturers around the country, and very few. There's a few that really stand out, and you know it when you walk in there. You almost get a tour of every customer I visit, whether it's a small cabinet shop or it's got 10 people, or it's a huge manufacturer. It's got hundreds of people, and it's night and day between just you can see it. I mean, the way the employees are smiling, they're saying hello to you as you walk by, and then there's some places you go and people are just never pick their head up when there's a stranger walking through. So I mean, you can feel it.
So you touched on a couple of good things right there for sure. One of them was about being in a competitive advantage, and the other one is something I always used to tell customers when I was doing lean manufacturing, that the sales folks are out there selling, but when they bring a customer into the facility, well, now everybody in the plant is selling. The sales guy's just giving a tour. Everybody else is doing the selling. So have you noticed? I'm sure you probably give a lot of tours to customers through your facility. I don't know if you can remember this literally, but maybe you can. But before you started doing all the development of the people, can you tell like it's tangible that it feels different when you take a customer through your facility today versus 6-8 years ago before you were doing this, relative to how the people are, the stuff you just described? Do you see that in your own facility?
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%. I mean, and that's a big part of attracting new customers or developing and making the relationships more mature with existing customers is getting them here. Even our old place. I mean, even though it didn't look so nice from the outside, we made it as shiny as we could on the inside. But we always like to bring customers to visit our facility, because to put culture to the side for a second, nobody can really understand your product very well until they see how it's made. So it's always been an important thing for me to get, and all of us, to get customers. But yeah, since we started with those, leadership developments, I think we were already a little bit of a step above that some of the others, because we always strive for that family culture. Yeah. And it was easier to do when we were smaller. As we grew, it's just naturally, when your family goes from 2 people to 60 people, relationships aren't as strong with everybody. So you need something like leadership development. But we always get positive comments when we're giving a tour to a customer or a supplier. And it feels great to hear it. They always talk about, man, everybody seemed really happy to work there. We're really engaged. I'll always stop when I have a customer or supplier, whoever it is, at a department, at a station, and to show what they're doing, and just turn it over to that team member to start talking about it. And they love to. They have a lot of pride in what they do. And then a customer asks me a question that I can't answer, so I just go to one of them, and so I learned something on every tour as well.
That's good stuff.
But yeah, I think people notice that. Well, and you and Rhea were here recently, so maybe you notice it as well. But I think you can kind of feel everybody's happy to be here, and wants to be a part of the team. And they are trying to sell the company.
Yep. People we didn't even know, they're smiling, they're waving, from a distance as we go down the aisle. Sometimes I'd walk over and talk to them while they were working. Didn't want to disturb them too much, but everybody, I mean, it seemed phenomenal. You guys, it shows, like you said, you touched on it. When you go to cabinet shops, you can see it, and you touched on it kind of being it's a competitive advantage. So as a customer, when you go to these different cabinet shops, why? Because you're telling the same story about Element Designs too, but I want you to look at it as I'm the customer. Like, even though you're not the customer, you're the supplier when you go to the cabinet shops, right? But if you were the customer in there, when you see the difference, why is that a competitive advantage? What makes it? Because you guys have that competitive advantage. You touched on it at Element Designs. What is it about that when you bring in customers? What we talked about, the people being engaged, the people smiling, introducing them, their names, who they are, they got something to say, you refer to them. Basically, you're transferring influence. When a customer asks something, you let them answer the question. Why is that a competitive advantage? Like, if you went into 3 different places, two of them, and you're the customer, 2 of them are the old school kind of way, and then one of them is the way we've described that Element Designs is. Why is that a competitive advantage?
Yeah, I mean, people want to work with people that they like, or that are like them. I don't know. It's just a new potential customer comes to visit us and 2 of our competitors, and I think, well, again, it's you talk about a lot. I've been listening to your podcast, going back through the sales book, Who's Buying You, and you always create this example. You got 2 candidates that are the exact same, right? Everything about them is identical, except this one is more about relationships, and this one just keeps to themselves, and it's always obvious. Well, I think that's how it's an advantage for us. They go to visit us and our competitor down the road, and we both make the same product. It looks like we both have pretty good quality. We both say we have the same lead time, so the prices are the same. So who are they going to work with? The one where they walk through the factory and nobody was looking up and smiling at them, didn't even make eye contact with them as they walked through, or the ones that stop them on their tour to tell them something or say hello and welcome them? That's how it's the advantage. It makes you stand out in the crowd.
That was a great explanation, and I don't have many people tell me that, because I tell it that way. But when I'm listening to you tell it, that simple way to explain it is so powerful, because you can see, you say everything else is the same, but this one thing's different. Then you see how much does this one thing matter, right? And you can do that about every single thing relative to a business, and that's what you got to do. You got to be working on doing the right thing instead of the maybe it ain't the wrong thing, but it's not the best thing, right? Doing the best thing of the 2 options, and that's absolutely true. If everything's equal and I walk into a facility where people are nice and interacting, you can tell they got good relationships. They want to build a relationship with me, versus I go in the other one, it's cold. They don't look like they're happy to be there. it's obvious. Somebody says you can do business with either one. Which one you gonna pick? Everybody's gonna pick the same one. So
yeah, and it's the same for. I mean, I'm not saying we have the ability to choose our customers. We're looking for as much business as possible. We want to keep growing, but if I don't know if I can only get two things done today for a customer, and one I visited and I had a great vibe, and kind of felt like we connected with them and their team, and one that was just strictly business. I'm going to put more of my attention and time into the customer that's I feel like it's more like us.
Yep, you're saying some good stuff, Kevin. I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of your growth. I mean, I can literally tell the difference. I remember when we came by and the very first time we were there and we met you and we were leaving, and because your office looks slightly different this time. You got a new office, but
yeah,
your other office was like orange.
yeah. Well,
I mean, Clemson, right? You went to Clemson, and
that's it.
There was a lot of Clemson stuff. Like if I look behind you now, it don't register the same. That other office, you had something was different in there about your Clemson team.
Yeah, no, it's a little more subtle here now, but yeah. But yeah, no, it's brand new place, brand new office. I mean, we didn't have a window in the building. The only window was the front door. So, yeah, so it's a whole different environment here, and I think it suits us well.
So real quick, we try to keep these things around an hour most of the time, but we've been talking about your business and your team and all that kind of stuff, and you don't have to share any of this if you don't want to. But has it had a personal impact on you? Anything you share have changed your relationships outside of work any kind of way, this growth journey you've been on?
I think it has. I think it naturally has. I don't know if I can think of any specifics, but I think it's just some of those same principles of trying to understand somebody else's point of view, or not. I don't know, not holding the fact that their opinion's different than yours against them. And still being open to developing that relationship. And just things like that.
What about
even
with
yeah, exactly, the pause button. Yeah, that I think it was in one of the Kilgore sessions that we talked about the pause button and the rewind button. And I said I wish there was a rewind button. That one doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Whoever develops that's gonna be a billionaire. So yeah, the pause button's important, but again, it's all about execution. Sometimes you don't get your finger there quick enough to press pause. So then,
that's right.
But then you just got to own up to it. Saying I'm sorry is important. If you said something wrong, you said it the wrong way, or wrong words came out of your mouth, and that's not just at work. That's certainly much so, and just as much in personal life, whether it's with my wife or a close friend or somebody I just met for the first time. So.
Yep. So anything I didn't ask you that you'd like to share about yourself or about Element Designs? Or something you wish I'd asked you?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. Not really. No, I mean, nothing I wish you would have asked me. A couple of things I'd really want to thank, first of all, you and Rhea for getting us on this path. We're huge fans of both of you guys and love what you're doing, and just amazing what you're doing for others and those that are hungry to learn, giving them the tools to do so. And then Jason Denham too. If he listened to this, thank you very much, Jason. Very unbelievable of you to open up your company and your monthly meeting to others. It's helped more than you can imagine. So just want to get that out there before we close.
Okay, outstanding. And I really want to appreciate you for taking your time out of the day to help us help other people. I mean, that's what this whole series is about, people sharing their stories. So, and we don't care if they use our content or somebody else's. The main thing we care about is if they go develop themselves and develop their team. That's all that matters right there. Be that kind of leader worth following that values the people. So I really appreciate you taking time out.
Absolutely.
All right, then we'll wrap it up, and I hope you have a great weekend. We're recording this on a Friday, and yours will actually come out pretty quick. So we're gonna get it out. We'll send you some links to that, and you can share them or some whatever you want to do with them. But you can find some value in this, hopefully. So we're gonna wrap it up here for everyone who is checking out this episode. Thank you. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. it might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.